Well, all right. Welcome to Walt's World. Of course, it is a Saturday. And last night, man, it was ridiculous in the NBA. Got the All American Walter Luckett in the building. What's happening, my brother?
Hey Juan, it's a wonderful time of the year. Basketball heaven, I tell you. Great basketball being played. The stars are stepping out.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's get to the 76ers and the Hawks. The series is tied 3-3 yesterday, 104-99. What'd you think of the game?
Well, Atlanta came out 10-2 in the first few minutes.
Right.
Young, he started attacking the basket. He was like 4 for 7 in the beginning. He also ended up with 31 points, but they were hard 31 points because the effective defense that Simmons put on him. But you know what? He was pretty special by he was getting fouled at the three. But what was interesting, he would back the guy in or back into the guy and get on that foul line, which he's 80% perfect. So Atlanta started off with a real bang, but Philly came back.
Yeah, Bogdanovich is still having a problem. He only scored 7 points.
I know.
Clint Capella, 14 points, 11 rebounds, but he wasn't effective. My boy John Collins had an off night with only 7.
Right.
So look, he can't do it by himself. I mean, that's what it's all about. He scored 34. It's going to be tough back in Philly, man. What you think?
But I think also to get back to Capella, they didn't go to him, and I think
True.
by Trey was shooting a lot of threes,
True.
more than he normally does when he penetrates to the basket. So he Capella had to get the ball, get his points off the backboard, and that's not where he's effective. And like you said, the other guards were kind of non-existent.
Yeah, Tobias Harris did good over with Philly.
Oh yeah.
When he scores, when he does well, they do well. He got 24, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, so he did well. Embiid, only scored 24 points, but the ball got spread around. And I told you about my boy Tyrese Maxey, man.
Oh man, he came off the bench and really just unbelievable. I mean, a lot of energy, and you got to give him credit because he's not a starter, and I think he's just aching for getting more playing time. But you know what?
Yes.
But you know what? You got to give credit. We got a new Curry on a new Curry coming into stardom. He dropped there. He was remarkable out there.
Yeah, he got 24 also.
Yeah.
Ben Simmons, of course, scoring is not an issue with him, but 6 points, he could have done better than that. They could have lost this game if everybody else didn't pick it up. You know what I mean?
He could have had double figures if he made his foul shots.
Exactly. And only 5 assists. If you out there being a point guard, I want to get 10 assists out of you in a playoff game. You know what I mean?
My only argument, I try to defend the guy. It must be hard playing the best offensive player all the time. That's my excuse. But I'll tell you, you still got to be able to make foul shots. I mean, you're not defending anybody way on the foul line. And I mean, to actually take you out with 3 minutes in the fourth quarter when you're the defensive ace, that does not look good. I don't know. I mean, explain that to me.
Nah. I mean, this team, has a lot of players that just are inconsistent. And I don't know if that's going to be enough to win the championship all the way around. I mean, Shake Milton, who made all that noise before, he only played 4 minutes, though, but he 0 across the board, all right? Now, your boy Dwight Howard, despite what's the stat sheet, he comes in and gives them energy. He got 2 points, two rebounds, played 11 minutes, actually 10 minutes. And but there's just something about when he comes in that he elevates everybody else's game,
And I saw something that maybe I might be reading too much into it, but when he came out to relieve Embiid, he gave him thumbs up, and Embiid kind of ignored him.
Yeah,
and that was kind of like, did you catch that?
Yeah, I did catch that.
I was like, oh, wait a minute. You're supposed to throw him a high five when he comes out there because actually he's playing better defense than you. So he's compensating for your loss. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
He just totally ignored him. So I don't know.
Well, listen, it's going to be interesting, getting back to Philly, man. I mean, I got to tell you, I still think the Hawks are going to do something with this. Really, I do.
If they can start get Capella in the game, I agree with you. And then Collins, You know, he'll throw it down on you in a minute. I don't know what happened to him in the last game, but again, I thought, Philly was tough. They were playing tough defense, and they didn't really, they took too many threes for me. You got to go down low and make the big guy happy. So maybe they'll change that plan and at least do some down the court, down low and try to get some points down low and get them in foul trouble too, because I don't think nobody fouled out.
Oh no one fouled out. No one, no.
Don't you find it interesting that you got a bigs, and you don't even get anybody fouled out of the game?
Well, look, the refs are letting them play, man. At least in this series.
That's true.
They're letting them play, and I'm not afraid of that. I think that's good, It's basketball, man. You know what I mean? Sure. So the Clippers, man, finally got over the hump.
Wow.
And the Jazz, they're supposed to be the best team in basketball this year, got knocked out. So
we bought into that too,
we did.
We got to tell our fans, hey, we gave them the nod, and and they kind of disappointed us last night.
Yeah, well, listen, man, I still think Donovan Mitchell is a superstar. He scored 39 points yesterday. Mike Conley came in, but he wasn't himself. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And then they came back. They were 25 points deficit, and they let the Clippers get in. But I'll tell you, you called it. Man was absolutely fantastic.
Absolutely.
I mean, he teamed up with Jackson. And that backcourt was 39 and 28. That was. They moved PG to the small forward spot, man.
Yeah.
Those young boys were running up and down that court, and they were making their shots.
And Patrick Beverly came in and did his thing, man. He ended up.
He saw that young guy taking his spot. He cranked it up a little bit. He had a couple of threes, man, and he got all animated when he made those shots, which I like that.
Yeah. And let me say this, you've been a Reggie Jackson fan right from the beginning. So have I.
Thank you.
And I think that Reggie has really elevated his game to the point where, he's consistent. You got 27 also. I mean, think about that. So,
I think he's gonna he won't be getting the minimum next year.
No, absolutely not.
And he won't get max money, but he needs to get some money for what he's done, because when you really think about it, he wasn't starting.
No.
So he's taking on a new role here, and I tell you, you can't leave him open. And his range is, Donovan Mitchell is the only guy I know that can shoot half court and make 50% of his shots. That guy can play some basketball.
And but something, I think that by the end of the day, though, right? You still gotta have balance, right?
Oh yeah, no question.
And when somebody's scoring, like that, but then also just the idea that you come down and shoot it like that, that means that that's one play where everybody else didn't touch the ball.
Yeah, good point. There's
something to be said about people, touching the ball, even if you ain't scoring. Just to have the ball in your hands to pass it off and to do something with it, right?
Yeah,
and if you don't do that, then the concept of team becomes an issue, and that's what I believe. So that's why.
A good point, Mark. That's a good point, because Joe Bear is like, what's he out there for?
Right, exactly.
Exactly. And then Clarkson, when he comes in here, he ain't passing nobody that's gonna get his points.
Exactly.
He can shoot the rock, but he don't pass to anybody. He passes it to himself. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So you're right. So I'm just reinforcing your point in terms of there's too much one-on-one with Utah. Now they got by, during the regular season, and Donovan Mitchell, he's a phenom. But you're right. You can't step over the half-court line and shoot it, because everybody's like, well, they're out of position for rebounding. There's no ball movement, and any real smart defensive coach, Ty Lue, he's a smart guy. He won championships before, so he knows how. And actually, they were so happy to have won that game.
Absolutely, there's no question. And so, moving on tonight, is the biggie. So I got my Brooklyn Nets hat on. Milwaukee and the Nets. It's gonna be rocking in downtown Brooklyn, baby.
Oh, it's gonna be a good one. There's gonna be a lot of money at the restaurant. Everybody's gonna be eating and having a good time and rooting for the Nets, even if they're not at the game. But just think about it. The New York Knicks? I don't think so. The Nets.
Well,
That's
yeah.
that took
Well,
over
right
New
now,
York, man.
right now. You know, I think that New York has made a comeback just in beating relevancy. So I'm happy. I'm happy for that. But you might see a Kyrie sighting or something, man.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Yeah, it is, right?
Well, I hope that guy that's building that new arena out in LA doesn't do it for and make a mistake and Kyrie leaves him, because he said he doesn't like playing at the Laker Nation.
Yeah, exactly. So and then again tomorrow. Well, before we move on, so who do you got? Who do you got? The Nets or the Bucks? Who you got
tonight?
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna go with the Bucks.
You're gonna go with the Bucks,
and I think the reason for that is because I don't have confidence in D'Antoni and Nash's ability to put a defensive front that's gonna stop that penetration and that drive. And Middleton and the Greek Freakers just going down that lane with no trouble at all. Unless I'm still gonna go with the Bucks, but here's my pros and cons to it. If you get Blake Griffin up to speed, and you get the big guy in there, Claxton, then you might have a chance. But right now, there's no defense in that middle lane.
Yeah, man. And DeAndre Jordan hasn't played at all, man. I mean, come on. You can't give him 5 minutes to come in there and bang it around. Seriously, And
he's making a good penny, too.
Yeah, look, man, the bottom line is that, they playing small ball and, I mean, the biggest guy they got is Durant, and he's playing guard.
And I think about D'Antoni and Nash. They're so used to having guys, running down the court that they really didn't rely on bigs. Exactly. I think the tallest guy they had was Stoudemire, and he was like 6'8".
Well, listen, they relied on them during the season because them guys they weren't playing.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's not like they're not seasoned to come in and play. That's what's blowing my mind. You know what I mean? Yeah, and they got to feel some sort of way about that too, right? When you guys are in trouble, you use us, but then when time comes for us to shine, I don't even get a run at all, right? Yeah. That's not good, man. That's not
bad
good.
For morale. Bad for morale.
Yeah. No question. So Clippers Suns, that's tomorrow.
Ooh, yeah.
Game 1.
Well, what's the story on CP3?
Still haven't heard anything, at least from my end. So that's
how effective would he be when he gets in anyway? Probably, right?
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I mean, it's very interesting about this whole thing. Like we've been talking about. These playoffs have been, as much as they've been great, they also been about injuries. Injuries. Have made themselves known here, and it's interesting. So
what's your take on him getting the positive results?
Well, I mean, I think me and you had this conversation off air, right? I mean, yes. Like how responsible has he been? I believe that one of the problems that the NBA had this year, and it came back to bite them in the butt, and that is that they were in the bubble last year and they didn't have one positive, and they got and they got through the whole playoffs, right?
Right.
All they were asking these guys to do was like, okay, just be careful. Right. So like when the game is over, go home. Right.
Right.
Just that's it. Period. Right. Just go home and be around people that are vaccinated, because they're all vaccinated, but that shows you that vaccination don't mean that you can't get it again. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, what about you? What's your take?
Well, I'm thinking here, you're the leader, you lead by example. He must have, something happened, something went wrong. I always believe that when you're in that leadership role, you really have to, watch your P's and Q's. And maybe socially, he should just lock himself in a hotel room and wait till this is over with, because, it really puts the NBA in a bad light too, because now they're going to try to, figure out how they're going to fit him in. Hopefully they don't break the rules so he can come in and make money for them. So, what are the standards, Juan? You got to stick with the standards. What are the rules? And I'm big on that. It's like, if the guy really still has it, it's not fair to the other players too.
Oh, there's no question. They were talking about if he had to test negative 2 days in a row in order to be able to come back, something to that effect. So so that he can't pass it on. So we'll have to see, man. Then we got the Hawks.
Booker.
Got the Hawks. We got the Hawks and 76ers.
Yeah,
Yeah, man. That's tomorrow night at 8:00, man.
Yeah. But I'm telling you now, that PG and them, that's the first time, what, in 50 years? It's been a while, right?
Yeah. For you mean for the Hawks? Are you still talking about the Clippers now?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, no question. Oh, absolutely. No. I mean, they need this. They need this.
Yes.
They need this. Maybe not the whole thing, right? But they need this. This series they need to win.
Yes, they do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because they want to, they're trying to go up against the other team in terms of, who owns LA, right? And I don't think they will never own LA, right? But by the same token, they're playing in their facility. I'm glad that they're building a new one so they can have their own identity. Because, I mean, look, it's just like New York, man. The Knicks own New York. Come on now. The Knicks own New York. And that's because we've been around longer, right? But now that the Nets are doing their thing, and they got a beautiful facility, right? People can claim them like I can when the Knicks ain't playing. You know what I mean?
Well, you made a good point too, because remember the Knicks were there. Remember when Dr. J and them won a championship?
Yeah, it didn't matter.
It didn't matter at all, even with the doctor.
It didn't matter. Of course, they were the Jersey Nets then. Or were they New York Nets then? Was it Jersey or New York?
I think it was the New York Nets.
Yeah, New York, but they were playing in Nassau County or some damn place. Yeah. There you go. So, okay, so Hawks 76ers, Game 7. Oh, what a way to end the weekend, right?
Yeah, it's gonna be a tough one.
Yeah, well, who do you got? You got the Hawks? You're laughing? You got the Hawks?
I want them. Yeah, yes, I do. I want the Hawks.
You want them.
You know what my problem is? I'm tied in with Doc Rivers. I got so much. He did my golf tournament with us and stuff, and I'm a loyalist. But I like that Atlanta club. They're young. I just hope that they start utilizing the big guy. I love Trey Young. He brings so much excitement to the game because every kid's not going to be 7 feet tall. So when you see this little guy running up and down that court, dropping 40s, every kid around 6 foot or 5'11" is going to say, maybe I could do that too.
If they win that game, they are Cinderella for sure.
Yeah, and if they win that game, they might win everything. And if they win that game, they might win the whole thing.
Oh my God!
Why stop?
Hey, listen. I can't go with them again. Nets. But if they win it, man, it's gonna. I mean, already I think that I feel good because the Knicks played against a good team, and that's why they lost. That's all I can say.
You're going back to the Knicks, huh?
I'm going back to the Knicks. I'm going back to the Knicks. All right, brother. Well, listen, man, enjoy the game tonight. I'm going to be up on it, and we'll come back tomorrow. Father's Day. We all celebrating Father's Day tomorrow.
Happy Father's Day to you.
Yeah, same to you, brother.
Fatherhood's all about, man.
Yeah, man. Same for you, brother. All right, man. Have a nice evening. All right, one Castillo with you. It's Walt's World.